Technology Department, and Malik Books. Your business deserves to be heard. Let KBLA Talk 1580 amplify your voice and connect you with our powerful community of listeners. Email smb@kbla1580.com today. That's smb@kbla1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Good morning or evening, friends. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster. Could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away.
Put that love in the mail right along with your ballot. That's what we're going to do. He picked the song. He's a father, a husband, a public defender, born and raised in the city of Inglewood. Nearly 15 years of experience as an attorney for the Los Angeles County Office of the Deputy Public Defender, representing indigent individuals accused of crimes. He's handled hundreds of cases, including misdemeanors, felonies, and juvenile petitions. He would like your vote for judicial seat number 39. George A. Turner, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
And is that your theme song? You picked that?
Absolutely. Listen, growing up, I was a big Stevie fan, still a big Stevie fan, and I love that song.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it should be a song for this election season. Want to leave that there?
Yes.
You're back. You made it through into the general election. And we're near the finish line. What's your call to action here for folks? Because I think, people are paying more and more attention to judges, which I think is excellent news.
Absolutely. I think that accountability is a real thing. You want to have access to your judges. You want to have people who you know, people who are a part of your community, people who you can knock on their door, who you might see in the community, but you want people who can sort of reflect and understand your own experiences. And that's the reason why I decided to run. There's that, and there's also you want folks who are up on the current law. Laws have changed significantly over the last five to 7 years, and you want folks who are aware of the laws and willing to apply them.
We were just talking about Defenders of Justice with my last guest. You are part of that slate, and that's a relatively new thing to have a slate of judges to help people understand where folks are coming from. So explain that for folks who are not familiar with Defenders of Justice.
Absolutely. So if you look at Los Angeles County specifically, there's an overwhelming amount of judges who are prosecutors. In fact, there wasn't any public defenders ever elected to judgeships until the last election cycle. So there was an idea of, okay, we need to sort of address that imbalance. And so along came the Defenders of Justice. It's a coalition of folks ran through La Defensa, which is a community-based organization. And their goal is to get more public defenders and people on the defense side on the bench. And so I am the second cohort of the Defenders of Justice. So we're Defenders of Justice 2024. It's me and Erika Wiley.
And tell me how your long experience as a deputy public defender might, give you a different perspective, or how it might impact the way you move as a judge.
Absolutely. So there's two things that I like to think about. The first thing is, as a public defender, people are like, why would you even want to be a public defender? You went to UCLA, you articulate. Why would you want to be a public defender? And I'm like, well, a couple of things. First of all, I grew up in the middle of this thing we call mass incarceration. I wanted to represent members of my community, folks who I knew growing up needed a good attorney. So that's the first reason why I wanted to become a public defender. But the second thing is that public defenders really get the opportunity to talk to all of the parties, right? People say, well, why not become a DA? I'm like, well, DAs don't get the opportunity to talk to everybody. They can't talk to the person accused because the person accused is represented by an attorney. But public defenders can talk to the person accused. They can talk to the victims of the crime. They should. They can talk to the investigators. They can talk to the judges. They have to talk to everyone. So they get a 360 example of what the story is or what's going to happen in the case. And so I can take that sort of experience right into the courtroom, right? Meaning as a judge, I will know all of the parties involved and sort of their perspectives. So that's the first part. Second thing is, as we're starting to address things like restorative justice and alternatives to incarceration and the changes in the law, you want to have public defenders because these are things that we've been fighting for years. Alternatives to incarceration, before it was called alternatives to incarceration, there were public defenders trying to come up with ideas to not put their clients in cages, right? So these are things that we've been doing for years, first of all, and we're knowledgeable about them. We know the programs that work. We know the programs that don't work. We know the things that need to be addressed. We know the fact that there needs to be more experts on the panel. We know the inside ball to alternatives to incarceration. So we're ready, like literally on the first day. It's not going to be one of those things where there's this huge learning curve. We're ready on the first day to sort of run a courtroom.
LA County Superior Court judge is a nonpartisan office. So are you allowed to wear that Dodger hat?
Listen, I am a proud Dodgers fan, and I am I deal with it. Listen.
All right, so just a warning, should George A. Turner become a judge, I don't suggest you come wearing your Yankees gear to court.
Listen,
just saying.
Yankees are all right, but it's funny, I have a close friend who's a Padres fan.
Oh, wow.
And I love to, we rip him all the time on our group chat.
What about, speaking of Dodgers, there's something about LA, right? Whether it's Inglewood, Compton, or LA, South LA, where we're sitting right now. How do you think being an Inglewood-alino will impact your work on the bench?
Absolutely. So Inglewood is going through, and really South LA is going through a lot of changes, whether it be through gentrification, whether it be because of the multiple stadiums that they're building. Things are changing. Like I grew up, I live right on the corner from where I grew up, literally right around the corner. And so my kids are like, Daddy, you keep telling me you grew up in the hood. And they're like, the only person that's hood in this neighborhood, Daddy, is you. Right? Everything is like we can keep our doors unlocked now. Everything is very, very different. People are walking at night. So being able to have like a strong history and foundation of the things that have happened and are happening is important. And being someone from Inglewood and can literally tell you the history of the neighborhood that I grew up in is key, because I can tell you where we're having a strong understanding of where we came from would help us to prepare for the future so we don't make the same sort of mistakes that we've made in the past. Mass incarceration isn't something that it was something that was I don't want to say snuck on us, but it was something that we didn't really think through completely. We thought, we listened to the news and it said there was a rise in crime. And so the response was, well, you need to have more law enforcement. And so when you listen to, what's happening in the news now, we're getting those same stories.
Right.
And the hope is that we don't make the same mistakes. We tried that already. Right? And what it led to is what I tell folks, and I beat this drum all the time. 23 prisons in the last half century, 23 prisons, 1 college. That is not a society that's going in the right direction, right? So you want to have a more balanced and thorough understanding of things like public safety.
Yeah, and talk about being a dad. And what that means for your viewpoint as a justice.
Absolutely.
Or
So
judge, I should say.
Absolutely. So I am the father of 3 black boys, and holding my first son in my hand changed my life. It wasn't just about me anymore. And I understood that if I did this right, he's going to outlive me, right? Literally. So I need to prepare not just him for the world, but the world for him. And then I had two more. And I realized that, although I will always see them as those beautiful children that I held when I first, when they first came into this world, one day they're going to be tall and they're going to have deep voices and they're going to have facial hair. They might want to let their hair grow out, and someone might see them as dangerous, right? Because that's what happened to me. People, I went from being a cute little boy to being, oh my goodness, he's 6 feet with a bald head and a deep voice, right? And then I was stopped regularly by law enforcement, right? And had these sort of interactions. And so you want to sort of prepare the world for your children, and being able to see people as three-dimensional and not just as the worst thing that they possibly could have done, or a mistake that they may have made, or someone who's just made, caught up in a certain circumstance. Something that's just really, really important to me.
Yeah. It's really, really important, I think. Hopefully it's really important to all of us, is what are we doing to meet the moment for our kids, rather than, of course we have to do our best to get our kids to, be good, whatever that means. But it sounds like that drives a lot of what you do.
100%. They say that you're supposed to protect and provide. And I'm like, even if what's happening inside the house is great, once they leave outside of the house, they're not seen through the eyes of their mother and their father or their uncles. Yeah. They're seen as, what the image outside of the world sees them. And you just want to give them sort of opportunities. You want to give them real opportunities. And I don't want them fighting the same fight that I fought. Yeah. And it's frustrating. I'm always concerned about like what history will say about me. Right? What did you do when this was happening? Mm-hmm. And I don't want the story to be you did nothing. Yeah. Right?
None of us should want that story. We're talking with George A. Turner Jr. He would like your vote for judicial seat number 39 in the LA County Superior Court. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
KBLA Talk 1580 is here for you as you make your voting plan. And we've got a few things you may want to know. In the state of California, you can register to vote all the way up until the last day to vote, which is November 5th. In LA County, you may vote at any voting center or polling place of your choosing. Early voting has already started, both in person and by mail. If you need information about your registration or any election question, call the Registrar of Voters at 800-815-2666. That's 800-815-2666, or visit lavote.gov. Once you fill out your mail-in ballot, you may drop it in any county election mailbox found outside places like libraries, or you could drop it off with a poll worker at any vote center. If you suspect election foul play, voter suppression or intimidation, or other irregularities, or if you need to know more about your rights, call the Election Protection Hotline at 1-866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-687-8683. From any state. And if you need more information on specific candidates or propositions, check out our interviews and analysis on our YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, November 5th is the last day to vote, and the sooner we do it, the better. Helping you vote like your life depended on it, because it does. Your election information station, KBLA Talk 1580.
This is Jasmine Canick, and I want to talk to you about one of the most important elections facing our community. Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon is running for re-election, and he deserves our vote. In the 4 years he's been in office, he's put safety and fairness first, but also stood up against racism and injustice. He's exonerated over a dozen Black and Latino men wrongfully incarcerated for crimes they did not commit, and that's what we put him in office to do. Join Supervisor Holly Mitchell, Congressmember Sidney Kamlager-Dove, and vote to re-elect George Gascon for DA on or by Tuesday, November 5th. Paid for by George Gascon for LA District Attorney 2024.
Moments like making my kids my famous meatballs mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that has spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative NBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
George A. Turner Jr. is my guest. He would like your vote for LA County Superior Court Judge seat number 39. And I usually wait until the last minute, but I want to do this. I want to do it here just in case you need more time to give us your elevator pitch, your why should we vote for George A. Turner for judge.
So why should you vote for me? There are a host of reasons. First and foremost, I believe that accountability is very important. You want to have judges who you have access to. I've kind of made that point already. I also think that you want to have someone who is knowledgeable about the law. And I know that there's also a potential that they may not, if I'm elected, I may not be put in a criminal court. They might put me in another court, a civil court or a family court. And part of the reason why I talk about, me being valedictorian at Morningside. I graduated Morningside High School valedictorian. Graduated summa cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa at UCLA. Went on to UCLA Law School. Focused on critical race studies, right? I talk about that because it informs the community that I'm someone who is, how do I say this nicely? I'm a nerd. Right? I enjoy reading. I enjoy learning new things. Like, the easiest way to distract me is to put me in front of a bookshelf. At anybody's house I go into, I look at their bookshelf. I'm like, oh, I don't have that book. I need to read that one. In fact, the reason why I bought the house that I did is because when we first walked in, it was a huge bookshelf there. It was a wall-length bookshelf. And I was like, this is it. This is my home. So I am completely interested in learning new things. So even if there's something completely new, I'm willing to learn those things. But more than anything, I am someone who has the experience already, 15 years in a courtroom already, prepared on the first day, but also someone who is from the community and is intimately aware of the issues in the community. So I'm not going to be someone who sort of sits high, looks low, and doesn't know what's going on and sort of guesses what's going on.
Okay, I'm looking at your website now. It says the goal of this campaign extends beyond winning a single seat. We are part of a broader movement to democratize one of the most crucial arms of our government and legal system, the judiciary. Speak on that.
Absolutely. So, it's funny. Running this campaign, I realized that democracy is a fascinating thing, right? We usually think of democracy as a top-down sort of thing, right? So we think about the president of the United States or our senator or even our congressperson. But what I've learned here is that democracy starts really in your home, then with your neighbor, and then at the end of your block, and then your community, and then your entire neighborhood, and then outward. So being able to go, to the local Democratic club, or to a college class, or to a community center to just meet with folks, or meeting with the local fraternal organization. These are the sort of things that's what democracy is. Is that sort of late night after work, let's have a discussion about the issues that are impacting what's happening in our community. So, when I say I want to expand that definition, for a while, the way people got to the bench, too often the way people got to the bench was through these sort of appointments that no one knows anything about. Or when there was an election, people were literally playing sort of tic-tac-toe with who the bench officers were. You didn't know them, and they didn't do anything to have you know them. So this campaign is part of this movement to sort of have bench officers who are going to be elected to get to know folks and have the folks get to know them. And the way you do that isn't sort of a top down. It's literally grassroots. That's sort of the key phrase. But the way I explain it is literally, you knock on your neighbor's door.
Yeah.
Right? You knock on that neighbor's door. You go to the community event. That's how you get folks to know you.
Speaking of the community event, speak on your endorsements.
So I have been endorsed by a variety of organizations. The Los Angeles County Democratic Party has endorsed me. A variety of Democratic parties local Democratic parties have endorsed me. I've been endorsed by LA Forward. I've been endorsed. This is a few community-based organizations that I'm really passionate about. Initiate Justice has endorsed me. This is an amazing organization. I've also been endorsed by a bunch of local newspapers, and Maxine Waters also endorsed me.
Labor,
the LA Fed. So this is the organization of many of the bargaining units in Los Angeles County. They've also endorsed me. LA Progressive has endorsed me. And then a few bench officers have endorsed me as well. So I have a pretty decent amount of endorsements. But what I tell folks about endorsements is, I want votes.
Yeah.
Right? So if people are like, well, why have you have more electeds? I want folks in the community to endorse me, right? Not just to folks who are big names. I'm much more interested in, it's kind of like when you have to have a letter of recommendation. It's like, do you want the letter of recommendation from the person with the big name that doesn't know you, or do you want the letter of recommendation from the person who really knows you but may not have the big name? Right. Yeah. And I always chose the person who may not have the big name because I think the letter was something that would be more passionate as opposed to the form letter that you get from the big name.
Do we need more black men on the bench?
That goes without saying. When you look at the numbers, the literal numbers, we're talking about something like 70% prosecutor, 68% white male, I believe, and I'm kind of spitballing this, but the numbers are really troubling. And another reason why I decided to make this move is because when I was working in Compton, there was a few bench officers who retired, and Compton was a place where it was a very diverse bench. There were a few African American men on the bench, and then I saw one bench officer retire, and I started to look around. I was like, many of the black judges who I looked up to, who were mentors to me, they're starting to get around that age where they deserve the opportunity to spend time with their family and retire. But who are they going to be replaced by, right? And so even though the numbers are small, the concern that I had was they would get even smaller because folks are starting to retire. And so that's another reason why I put my hat in the
LA Times did not endorse you, and it's interesting because they call you an accomplished and well-regarded deputy public defender who would probably make a capable judge, but they call you a one-window attorney. I don't even know what that means. They say voters can't go wrong in this race, but they still chose your opponent.
I do not. I will say this about the LA Times. I had a very interesting conversation with them, with the editorial board. I think I presented myself very well. But, one of the things that I'm always going to run into is that I am not the traditional judge, right? What do I mean by that? I am not an older white man, right? And it's nothing that I can do about that. I am a public defender. I've been a public defender for 15 years. I have the experience. But when you look at me, you might not see the traditional judge. I mean,
honestly, yeah. If I went to the courtroom and I saw you on the bench, I'd be like, today's a good day.
See? And I can't, I'm not bad. I'm just drawn this way, right? And it's kind of, And so, with my LA Times experience, I think that what they were kind of trying to say was I didn't meet their expectations of what a judge would be. That doesn't mean they had to admit, however, that I was extremely qualified, that I would do a great job. It's just that when they see me, they don't see a judge. And I can't change that. And frankly, that's kind of the way I want it to be, right? That's kind of the point to this whole campaign is that, you don't want to have a traditional judge. You want to be able to walk into the courtroom and say, hey, wait a minute. He's a part of the community. He's not just someone sitting high and looking low. And I don't think that's a negative thing.
Tell us about your website and whatever else folks want to do a deeper dive or just pay attention to what you're doing.
Absolutely. So my website is George A. Turner, 4 judge.com. So GeorgeATurner, 4 judge.com. My social media is Turner, 4 judge. So that's at Turner 4 judge. I also have I'm sorry, I'm terrible with social media. I have a TikTok.
Okay.
And I also
You say you're terrible, but you do post. I see you posting.
I do. I'm learning. I'm learning. I'm in that sandwich generation. Right. So
that would have to be Gen X.
Yes. Yeah. So
Gen X, yeah.
What I tell people is I am a geriatric millennial. Right. So literally, I'm the oldest millennial.
I gotcha. Okay, so you're not quite Gen X.
Not quite. Well, I remember Gen X very well.
Pretend, we can pretend you're Gen X if it makes us feel more comfortable.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, so you have a TikTok.
I have a TikTok.
I know you have an Instagram because I follow you.
I have an Instagram. I have a Facebook. Of course, everybody has a Facebook. And then I also have YouTube. I have a YouTube as well. And I'm, the purpose, it took me a while to figure out, what is the purpose of this social media thing? And because what I was doing with social media before this was posting things about my passion for R&B music. But now I realize it's an opportunity to talk with people who are, who you can't meet every day. And I love the opportunity to talk to folks. Yes. And so that's what social media gives you the opportunity to do. So I'm learning that. Well,
George A. Turner, best of luck to you as you pursue the bench, and good luck on Tuesday. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm really just honored by the opportunity to be here and to really participate in this whole concept of this thing we call democracy. It is really I say this often. I am, as a public defender, unaccustomed to people being happy when I talk. And I'm unaccustomed to people being encouraging for the work that I do. So I'm very thankful for this opportunity. I'm humbled by it. I'm grateful. And, I believe that we'll be able to change the world on Tuesday.
George A. Turner, seat 39. Continuing the conversation, Erika Wiley, another candidate for judge in the building. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are campaigning in Arizona for Halloween. The vice president will rally in Phoenix, while Trump will rally in Glendale with Tucker Carlson. Both will also campaign in Nevada. North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile this morning as a message to its rivals. The missile was fired from Pyongyang and landed in the Sea of Japan. Kim Jong-un described the launch as a response to intentionally escalated regional tensions. Health experts suggest having a healthy dinner before trick-or-treating, buying candy last minute, and donating some candy to limit children's sugar intake. They also advise not completely denying candy to avoid increasing children's desire for it. And a rare 1975 dime without the S mint mark sold for over $500,000 at auction. It's one of only 2 such dimes from the San Francisco Mint. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers are making room for their 8th World Series championship trophy. They celebrated in New York City last night after a marvelous comeback resulted in a 7-6 win over the Yankees in Game 5. The Dodgers were down 5-0 in the 5th inning and 6-5 in the 8th. A 2-run rally in the 8th, capped by Mookie Betts' game-winning sacrifice fly, sealed the win. Dodgers first baseman Freddie Freeman, who had 4 homers and 12 RBIs in the series, was named World Series MVP. And how about the job performance by Dodgers manager Dave Roberts? Before the playoffs, there was talk that Roberts, one of only 2 black managers in Major League Baseball, would lose his job if the Dodgers had another early exit from the playoffs. The way Roberts handled his pitching staff in the postseason and the entire team, his job security should no longer be an issue. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is Assemblymember Tina McKenna reminding you to vote for my girl, Sade Alawari, for State Assembly. Sade is a part of our community, and she's the partner I need in Sacramento to help fight for economic justice, affordable housing, health care, and so much more. Sade is just like us. She comes out of our community, and she spent years working in our community, bringing people together. That's why she's endorsed by Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Supervisor Holly Mitchell, teachers, firefighters, and Planned Parenthood advocates. This is Tina McKenna, and I need you to make a plan to vote and to vote by Tuesday, November the 5th, for Sade Alawari for State Assembly.
Ad paid for by Opportunity PAC, a coalition of teachers, nurses, faculty members, school employees, and public and private labor, healthcare, and environmental organizations. Ad committee's top funders, California Teachers Association, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
So this new dose is... nope, that's not it. The price is nowhere to be found.
Mr. Green? Hi, it's all good. We've got this.
This is not just help from a Walgreens pharmacist.
Oh, new prescriptions. Cool. Let me check to see if these are the lowest cost options covered by your Medicare plan.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
This is someone supporting you every step of the way. Chat with a pharmacist today to find help saving. This is the human kind of help. Walgreens.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
At 5 in the morning, I wake up to fight for my yearnings. Fear in my mind. is a warning. Pray to the one you're relying. I've been wandering all day. I tried to be fine, but I can't be. The noise in my mind wouldn't leave me. I tried to get by, but I'm burning. And behind my mind, it runs. All these thoughts have troubled me. Fighting to give up my pain. Fighting to be on my lane. My mind.
KBLA Talk 1580. Boy, our candidates for LA County Superior Court seem to have excellent taste in music. Joining me in the studio right now, she worked as a deputy public defender for more than 20 years in LA, representing criminal cases, clients in criminal cases with charges ranging from misdemeanors to capital crimes. She's worked as a deputy in charge, supervising other lawyers, and she's passionate about finding solutions for her clients. Also a member of the Defenders of Justice Slate. Erika Wiley, welcome back.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Good morning. Yeah, nice choice. So you are looking for folks vote for seat 48, having made it through the primary into the general election.
Absolutely. Yes. The primary was a nail biter because, in the beginning, I was down in those first couple of days, but seeing the votes come in and the support that I got from the community coming out first in my race of 3 for the primary really has pumped me up for the general, and I'm cautiously optimistic.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know how I forgot this, but you're the mom of a very young child.
Yeah. I was telling you.
I bow down. Like, I don't, you have a job, you're running for judge, and you have a baby, which means you haven't slept in at least 3 years.
Yeah. At least 3 years.
Yeah.
And especially last night, because she's dealing with a little bit of a cold. But yeah, I became a mom at the ripe young age of 49 for the first time.
Wow.
And it just changed my whole life. It just changed my whole perspective on the way I wanted things to be for her, and the kind of mom I wanted to show up as for her. So, yeah, it was my biggest blessing.
The kind of mom that's an LA County Superior Court judge.
There you go. I want her to reach high.
Yeah. As Black women, we have the opportunity to be role models for our family members and our communities, and sometimes there's pressure for that too. It sounds to me like you step into that, happily.
Oh yeah. My parents were that for me, and so I don't know any other way. My mom has pursued 2 master's degrees. My dad was a chiropractor, one of the first Black chiropractors in Los Angeles County.
Interesting.
And they really created an example for their kids that you had to do better than they did, and I really have reached out to be someone who shows up in the community as a role model, as a mentor for younger lawyers, as an amazing mom, hopefully to my baby. So I had to step into the role that my parents mirrored for me.
How's your husband with this campaign situation?
He's a writer. He's holding it down. He's really, just an amazing support for me. He's my, biggest fan and 100% in support of me. He's the one who encouraged me. You can do this. You got to do this. So, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty awesome considering he's saying that with a 3-year-old in the house. Yeah. You went to Fisk.
Yes, historically Black college in Nashville, Tennessee. I actually graduated from Inglewood High School, so George and I are rivals because he went to Morningside.
To
Morningside. I forgive him. But Fisk University, I really back then as a young woman wanted to be in an environment where it was just all about what I could do, right, as opposed to who I was or my race or how people saw me, and the history of Fisk University. The graduates of that university were really role models in my life, and I thought it was going to be exciting to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and it was. I've got friends who've lasted me my entire life from being in that environment and pursuing my education there.
It's funny, when you watch TV, you would think that like 50% of judges are Black women because for some reason they always cast Black women as judges.
There you go.
But in real life, it's not like that, is it?
It's not like that. I was listening to George's interview, and it's very true that, there's real disparities and racial disparities on the bench. I have been encouraged by Black women on the bench, those that are there to run for judge. And I see my mission in seeking a judgeship as being someone who tells Black women who've pursued the law, you can do this. But, over my career, I haven't seen that. I have not seen that. I definitely would not have pursued being a judge maybe 10 years ago. I didn't think it was my place because I literally didn't see myself. But things have changed pretty drastically.
Ketanji Brown Jackson for one, right?
I mean, that was an amazing appointment by President Biden. I look at her experience, I look at her path, and it really is encouraging to see things changing in our judiciary, both on the federal and state level.
You went to University of Cincinnati College of Law. You said you graduated from Inglewood High School, Fisk University. You're a mama, public defender. What would you share from your biography that you think is most impactful or most significant in Erika Wiley as a judge?
Wow. I think what I talked to you about before, Dominique, just being able to stop self-editing, stop, writing myself out of this story. My path as a young woman growing up with, sort of on two sides of town. My dad lived in Inglewood. My mom, South Central LA. She had 6 children. I didn't see myself occupying certain roles. I didn't think that I was, worthy of those things. But, my path has shown me that when you put in the work, when you have support from people that love you, when you stop self-editing and believe that you can do things, that you can, that the sky's the limit. And so, that's what I'd have to say about my story, just in general, that, coming from literally nothing and seeing the real changes that can happen when, you're poured into as a young person the way I have been. I want to be the kind of person who is showing up and doing that for the people that are coming behind me.
Yeah. What's your vision for what you will bring to the bench? What's your why?
The things I talked about before, my daughter, wanting to see herself in places in this community and as a working person, not self-editing, achieving everything that she can within her power. I certainly know that as a person who's been a part of this community, like I said, grown up in South Central Los Angeles and also the Inglewood area, that people don't get to the point of committing crimes because they want to victimize people or wreak havoc in our community. A lot of times it's a deterioration in their life, the lack of resources, perhaps mental illness. And then our bench officers need to be aware of that. They need to be specifically aware of what's going on with the people that are appearing in front of them. We talked about the statistics, 60 to 70% of white males and people from prosecutorial backgrounds on the bench. Well, on the other side of that bench is primarily black and brown people appearing in front of these judges. And it's important that you have judges that know your life experience. They don't have to have lived it, but they certainly have to be interested in it and be willing to address you as a person with individual needs and circumstances, and to enact justice with a full view of what brought you into that situation. So that's the kind of judge I want to be and will be.
And what do you say to folks who think that public defenders might go soft on crime if they're on the bench?
Well, what I have to say about that is what you mentioned before, Dominique. I've handled cases from minor misdemeanors to capital murder. And while I definitely believe that, we have to look at people as people and employ empathy and reasoned decision-making in deciding what should happen in individual cases, I absolutely know firsthand that some people have made decisions which make them unsafe in our community. And they have to be removed from our community. People have committed murder, and there's proof of that, and they've been convicted of that. It's important that bench officers, weigh the balance. What is the impact of victims? What has this person gone through, and make reasoned decisions. And I'm a reasoned decision maker who has the background to know from the inside out what needs to be done in individual cases.
Talking with Erika Wiley, and she would like your vote for the LA County LA County Judge seat number 48. We will continue the conversation, my second conversation with Attorney Wiley, when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Politics has become so messy lately, it's hard to find a reason to be hopeful. Hi, my name is Shakira. I'd like to tell you why Adam Schiff gives me hope. My parents raised me to take my right to vote seriously, so I try to stay on top of what's going on. I saw Adam Schiff lead the impeachment and insurrection hearings. He seemed like someone I could believe in. Then I actually met him at the MLK parade in South Central LA this year. Adam listened. He cared. I got to see who he is. He understands the struggle we have with the cost of living, all the parents working extra shifts and taking second jobs to get by. He gets a threat to our democracy and our freedoms. Adam Schiff knows how tough things really are for a lot of us, and I believe he's going to do something about it. It gives me hope, but hope isn't enough. We need to vote for Adam Schiff for Senate.
I'm Adam Schiff, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Schiff for Senate.
And that chill in the air means one thing. It's truck season!
Oh, just 5 more minutes.
No snoozing. You've got so much to do. So do it all in a Chevy Colorado or Silverado, including the HD or class-leading 440-mile range of the Silverado EV.
Wait, what? Are you talking?
Yes! Picture it. Work, play, hauling gear, off-roading. A Chevy truck can take whatever you can throw at it, including tailgating in an actual tailgate!
I mean, homecoming is just around the corner. Oh, and showing up in a new truck.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Get things done and look good doing it.
Okay, I'm up. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Without offering me a ride? That's cold.
It's Chevy truck season. Head to your local Chevy dealer and get 0% financing on all 2024 Silverado pickups when you finance with GM Financial. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
0% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $27.78 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 9.3%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available at least in some of the offers. Take me retail delivery by 10/31/24.
Take it from Michelle Obama.
This election is going to be close. Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something.
This election is our moment to continue the fight of those who came before us. And we have the power to do it, but only if we do it together.
We did it before, y'all, and we sure can do it again. Let us work like our lives depend on it.
Paid for by NAACP.
Have you heard of the 50-30-20 rule? This can help you spend and save your money wisely. So how does it work? Distribute your dollars into 3 buckets. 50% towards needs, 30% towards your wants, and 20% goes to savings. Use this tool to help your journey to financial success. Sponsored by J.P. Morgan Chase & Company.
This is Assemblymember Tina McKenna reminding you to vote for my girl, Sade Alawari, for State Assembly. Sade is a part of our community, and she's the partner I need in Sacramento to help fight for economic justice, affordable housing, health care, and so much more. Sade is just like us. She comes out of our community, and she spent years working in our community, bringing people together. That's why she's endorsed by Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, Supervisor Holly Mitchell, teachers, firefighters, and Planned Parenthood advocates. This is Tina McKenna, and I need you to make a plan to vote and to vote by Tuesday, November the 5th, for Sade Alawari for State Assembly.
Ad paid for by Opportunity PAC, a coalition of teachers, nurses, faculty members, school employees, and public and private labor, healthcare, and environmental organizations. Ad committee's top funders, California Teachers Association, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
We are talking with attorney Erika Wiley. She's running for LA County Superior Court Judge. Seat number 48, and so much to cover here, but you talk to me about your endorsements.
I have so many endorsements. I'm very proud of those. Let me tell you. Let's see. The Los Angeles County Democratic Party is one of my endorsers. The Los Angeles Times. Recently, I achieved the endorsement of our mayor, Karen Bass, Maxine Waters. The LA Federation of Labor endorses me, as well as I'd say at this point maybe about 23 of our local Democratic clubs. Yes, a long list of endorsements, and just having the support of the community has been amazing. I mean, like George, I'm not used to people being excited to support the PD, the public defender, but the response to my campaign from the community has really been what's pushed me along this year-long journey to really show up and try to get this thing done.
Yeah, well, the LA Times, it's funny, when they endorse you, they say Erika Wiley has spent most of her career in criminal defense, but has varied experiences that give her a broader perspective. They say before practicing law, she worked at a maternity home. They make other references, but it's interesting. I feel like they're almost making an excuse, like we're defending her, even though she's a public defender, because she has varied experiences.
There you go. I mean, I love that they endorse me. I really do. And the things that they pointed out about my career. I did start off, prior to being a public defender, as someone who did eviction defense for the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles. That was my first job. But certainly my goal in my work for years, throughout my entire career, has been to be on the side of the little guy, to provide people with no one else on their side with an opportunity to have a good defense. So, yeah.
And, we talk a lot about judicial temperament. You said something sort of referencing that earlier in the show. You said you're some kind of decision maker.
Reasoned
decision maker. Why does your personality or your way of being a reasoned decision maker mean you have a judicial temperament?
Well, it means that you take things seriously, but not personally. And the courtroom can become a powder keg of emotions. There's so much going on there. People are facing the loss of their liberty, the loss of their children, and it's a place where emotions run high. But the judge controls that situation, and the judges that I've admired most are people who employ empathy as well as control and make reasoned decisions in their cases. And that's what I hope to be, someone who doesn't take sides or become known as someone who's for the prosecution or for the defense, but takes every case individually on its own and makes decisions based upon the facts, and does so in a way that's respectful to every party, because everyone has a role in the courtroom. All of the parties have a role and deserve to be respected.
We've got like 3 minutes here, so why don't you do why we should vote for Erika Wiley for seat 48, your elevator pitch.
Thank you, Dominique. My experience, I've been doing this for 25 years. I know the law. I know the landscape in LA. I know the players in LA. But aside from, logistically my legal experience, I also know the streets of LA, right? I'm from South Central Los Angeles. I know what brings people into the criminal justice system. I believe that I know what needs to happen in our courts to address the individual circumstances which bring people there. As I've indicated before, I'm a reasoned decision maker. I know that in some cases, prison is an option, but it shouldn't be the default position. And we need to be looking at what brings people into the criminal justice system, changing their lives if we can by offering them alternatives to the way that they're living so that they can show up in the community as safer and better people. And that's the kind of judge that I want to be. So I hope people do their research on me and my opponent. There's certainly a lot at my website, a lot of interviews like this one, that where I've talked about a lot of the things that are of interest to me and my position on a lot of issues. And I think if you do your research, you'll know that I'm the best candidate for seat number 48.
And tell us how to find your website, your social media, or anything else we might want to that you might want us to find.
Okay, so my website is Wiley, WILEY, FOR, judge.com. And you can follow me on Instagram at Wiley, 4 Judge. I also have Facebook, Wiley for Judge 2024, and TikTok. I believe it's Wiley for Judge. So yeah, those are my social media.
All the things, even TikTok. I love it. We still have another minute, and I would love for you to spend it however you like. But I know, I'm always interested in the focus on what you want part, the vision.
Oh, wow. I really want to do good work. I want to be a judge who makes an impact, a positive impact in her community. It's very important to me to not only just do the logistical work of making decisions in cases, but to show up as a mentor for Black women who want to pursue the bench. That's been something that's been a game changer for me in terms of getting out of my own head and the insecurities I have about whether or not this is something that I could do. I think there's a need for that. There's definitely a need for more Black women on the bench to invite those who pursued their career for as long as I have, 10, 20 years and want to expand their work. So yeah, those are the things that I'm interested in doing the work on both sides for the community and for the court.
Well, Erika J. Wiley, thank you so much for coming in again. It's a pleasure to speak with you, and
nice
good luck
talking to you
on
again.
Tuesday. Well,
thank you, Dominique.
Today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday when folks are voting.
Well, thanks for having me. This was I love talking to you before the primary, and this has really been enjoyable. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, much appreciation. When you guys show up, it just makes it so much easier for us, the voters, to know what the heck we're doing, and that's super important. So thank you.
Yeah.
Tavis Smiley's up next. I'm pretty sure you know that, and I saw his promo. You can see it on our Instagram at KBLA 1580. Man, he's got a lot of folks lined up today, so it'll be a jam-packed and exciting show. I'm going to take this page for the Mayor I Can curriculum for my quote, closing quote. They say the decision-making process is eliminate the negative, establish the facts, and choose your best option. Sounds like a reasoned decision maker. Don't forget to tap in on social media. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DIPRIMA, on all the platforms. KBLA 1580. We are on all the platforms. Please like, follow, subscribe, and leave a smart-ass comment. History's now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are campaigning in Arizona for Halloween. The vice president will rally in Phoenix, while Trump will rally in Glendale with Tucker Carlson. Both will also campaign in Nevada. North Korea launched an intercontinental ballistic missile this morning as a message to its rivals. The missile was fired from Pyongyang and landed in the Sea of Japan. Kim Jong-un described the launch